Dude, let's go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Untamed Outdoorsmen, and today we're going to be doing the next part of our build series on the XTR130, and we're going to be reinstalling the old Lowrance HDS 9 onto this boat. Like I had said previously, we're going to do something a little bit different with graphs this year, maybe next year, but I'm going back to my, good old trusty Lowrance. So you've seen us do this on my Titan 12 the first time. We're going to show you how we do it on this boat. It's going to be a little bit different, but yeah, stay tuned. We're going to get started right now. We got some drilling and some wiring to do, so we'll show you that. All right, guys, so like we mentioned in last week's video, we're going to be installing the one objective computer panel plate. This is the back version. So as you can see, I already kind of got it set up in there. As you can see, it just slides up in here and then fits right up into the lip. If you can, get it in there. Fits right up into this lip, and then we're going to run 3 screws that are supplied by One Objective. If you want the website, it's right there. And it's 3 self-tapper screws. They're Phillips head, and they're going to go right through here. And we're just going to do 1 on either end and 1 right in the middle. So we're going to do that right now. We'll show you how we do that. It shouldn't bounce around too much. No. I'm not worried about it. Once we have everything mounted.
All right, guys, so Pete just installed the One Objective plate here. I'll show you guys this real quick if you want. So it's kind of hard to see with it being in the dark. I don't think I have a flashlight right now, but plenty of room here. We are going to mount the yak power to this. We're going to mount our Noco Genius setup to this. And I do believe we are going to mount the black box to this at a later date. Like Pete said, that's not in the plans for this winter. I would say Live Scope is probably in the plans for a later date. But either way, this gives us plenty of room, and if need be, we also have this styrofoam mount back here as well to kind of give some rigidity to the hull. We can also just mount stuff here too. In case any of you didn't notice, we did make a severe upgrade to our microphone quality. One of you very politely noticed that our microphone quality was off in one of the other videos. We fixed it. We're good to go. So now we're going to get into this HDS Carbon 9 here. We bought this thing, geez, 3 years ago? Yeah, about 3 years ago. Yeah. It's a great unit, although it may be a little dirty. This thing has been fantastic for us, and we do eventually want to add the captain's bridge to this. Once we get that, we'll kind of make a separate build series video on that, kind of getting that installed to this unit. But for now, we're just going to install it with this Yak Attack mount on it. It's totally up to you how you want to rig it. I totally can see the preference to not want to add a captain's bridge because it kind of defeats the purpose of like it being a standing deck. You can do whatever you want to do, but these mounts are here for a reason, so we're going to use them. But yeah, so we've had this thing for 3 years. I'll actually leave a link in the description to the video of us unboxing it from like 2022. If you guys want to see that, you can take a look at it. But yeah, so one thing that we are going to have to do. So the difference between the Titan X and the XTR, other than the obvious, is it's going to be a little bit harder to kind of rig this thing out and not want to drill. Obviously, our goal with any build series is to avoid drilling where we can, but this kayak, I think we're going to have a little bit harder of a time to do that just because of the way it's designed, and you only have 3 power link plates, so we're going to have to kind of, unfortunately, we are going to have to drill, which I don't love, but we got to do it. So they have this mount back here for the transducer. This is the one kind of area with the XTR that I think is kind of getting some mixed reviews, I think, to put it delicately, getting some mixed reviews. We're gonna have to use this. It is what it is. One thing that we are going to have to do though is we're gonna have to make sure that the way we mount it is just tight enough to where it won't move in the water, but not too tight, because we need to be able to move our plate. This plate here is going to have to get moved up vertically when it's out of the water, to kind of tuck it up with the hull. So down when it's in the water, up when it's out of the water. So we need to adjust these screws to be able to do that. And we're gonna have to, unfortunately, we're gonna have to drill into the hull, probably about right here. If you guys can see that, probably about right here. And then we're just gonna run a straight shot of wiring right to our setup up front. And then we should be good to go. We are gonna have to get a Yak Attack through hull. We're gonna have to get one more Yak Attack through hull. So we won't install that up front. That'll be installed in the rear here. So if you see a hole in the hull, a 1-inch hole in the hull with the transducer wire coming out with it, don't worry about it. We're gonna add a through hull probably off camera. But yeah, I don't wanna talk anymore. Let's get to installing this thing.
I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm just by feel here.
All right, guys, we got our football of a transducer here. All right, so we are going to get this guy installed. So we already kind of test fit it. These holes line up perfectly. I don't know if you can see it too clearly, but these holes do line up really good. So again, we got to position this in a perfect way so that it stays low, but we can retract it too. So I think we got this pretty tightened up pretty well right now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mount this as low as I can get it, like keeping the transducer as low as I can, and take the trusty dusty screwdriver here. Within reason, keep it low within reason. You don't want it to hang too low, but it should be below the water line at least. All right, so just get that tight enough to where you can just mount the other one on. If you mount one before you mount the other, you'll have a hard time. All right, so we got them both screwed on. Now you're gonna lower it down, and then there we go. I think you guys can see that good. All right, there we go. Get that just tight as I can. You don't want to over tighten these. Screwdriver tight should be plenty. So yeah, guys, I understand this is not the greatest transducer setup in the world, especially compared to like Titan X or even Pete's old Titan 12. But we worked the problem, and here we go. So we may tighten this up a little bit more, but we got this in a good spot. So when it's on the water, it'll sit like that. And then the second we get to the bolt ramp, we'll just flip it right up like that, and that won't give us any issues whatsoever. So it looks good. Yeah, it's a little loose right now, but whatever. It's not a problem. Okay, so next up, we have to get this through into the hull. This is the same one that we installed in the previous episode of the build series. And we kind of decided that we're going to mount it right here. We wanted to mount it like right here, but we noticed that it wasn't like a perfectly even surface, so we were going to have a hard time mounting that. This is a much more flush mount. And what we can do, we can unscrew this little plate back here, and we can get behind it and silicone it. So it won't give us any issue down the road at all. So yeah, ain't nothing to it just to do it. All right, so we got our little 1-inch hole saw here. I'm gonna do the terrifying part. So just make sure you do all your measurements beforehand. And one thing too, you wanna make sure that you angle your bit in the direction of the hull. So if the hull is off to a slight angle, make sure you kind of follow that slight angle so it doesn't give you a hard time. But, all right, so I just gotta line up that screw hole. Should be good to go. It's a thick hull. Okay, so we got the hole drilled. It looks good. So we got to feed the wire through now. Put it through that. And then feed it through. All right, so we got that kind of mounted up here. I'm going to take these guys. So yeah, guys, I think the trick here is going to be, in terms of like slack, mount it with just a little bit of slack, because if you mount it like wicked tight, it's gonna pull down on the transducer wire. So it's gonna pull down on the through hole plug and make it less waterproof. We'll just start one size smaller than 7/64 and I'll try to, yeah. I'm not a fan of those like step bits because I just think there's too much room for error. These regular bits are a little bit easier to deal with. Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will work really good. Okay, and then do you got the other screw? Oh, thank you. 7/64 is the perfect size. This looks perfect. Looks literally perfect. Okay, all right. Got this installed. Let's move on to the next part. There you go, I got it.
Okay. Okay, just go gentle.
Yeah, I'm going slow.
I don't know how well it's on there.
All right, it's up here.
Okay. Sit. Okay. Some heaty shrink. All right, guys. So all I'm doing is I'm just fixing my fish finder wiring from when I took it off the Titan 12. The end that I had on it, the actual yak power end itself that I just dropped on the floor, it was all nasty and corroded, so I cut it off. I'm just going to rewire it with the good stuff. These are heat shrink butt connectors, and then we're going to double heat shrink back on top of it, and we should be good to go. No more corroded mess, nightmare, and we're going to actually dielectric grease this before we put it in too. So I'm just getting that wiring situated right now. Connor, I think, is going to start running the wires through the power link plate so we can fish them up through the top here, and we can get them connected to the fish finder. So we'll show you that in 1 second. All right, so we got these two butt connectors heat shrunk now, and I'm just going to let them cool off just a little bit. And we're going to slide this heat shrink on, and we should be good to go to heat shrink this part. Yeah, good to go. Nice and cooled down. Good to go. It's so much easier when you're using the correct stuff for the job. When we did the boat build the first time, it was difficult, but I didn't fully grasp what we were doing the first time. Ah, burnt my finger. Boom. All good. And the rest of these, I'm just gonna tape them up off out of the way because I don't need these. I should bag these.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna need those for when I do the black box. I wonder why my dentist hates me. Boom. Okay.
I'm gonna need the mic.
Connor's currently in the attic looking for old parts from the Ascend, trying to repurpose.
Find a through hole. That sounds good.
He is deep in the attic.
Yeah, I don't think they know that an attic is up here.
No, I don't think anybody knows there's an attic up there, but...
Okay, here we go.
Find any?
Yeah, you're not gonna like what it's covered in, but... Yeah.
Silicone?
Yeah.
That's alright, we can scrape it. I just really need it for a reference. Oh!
Oh, I got some through too. I got some of the rubber. Here.
Oh my...
Keep it. I don't care.
Dude, oh,
Screws too.
it's caked in silicone. Caked.
Here you go. Catch.
Just toss.
Catch.
Oh. Okay.
Alright.
1 caked in silicone and 2 caked in silicone. Good.
Everybody doubted us, but we needed it again.
I'll let Connor get out of the attic. Weirdo. All right, guys, so now that Connor just went dumpster diving for a through haul for me, we got the through haul. I already got it lined up to where it's going to sit and started to drill, so I'm just going to finish this hole off. Okay. And wham bam, that's going to fit perfect. Sick.
All right, guys, so one quick thing before, we're getting to the end of the video, but one quick thing before we finish it off. I do just want to silicone the back of this plug here that we installed just for, honestly, peace of mind's sake. And since this through hole is on the outside of the kayak, I just think that's really important to at least get some kind of silicone in there. So thankfully, this is actually pretty easy to access, and I'm just using this for some light to kind of angle that right. So it is kind of off feel, but it is what it is. Live with it. Another thing that you can do too is if you have like a smartwatch, you can actually put your phone down there and hold the watch up, and you can actually watch yourself do it. It's a little trick I learned. It's only some may find it useful, but it's fine.
Let's do a zip tie quick. Nice and tight. Okay.
Okay, guys, so that's going to do it for today's video, but I do want to go over all this quickly. So just as a placeholder, we have my 50 amp hour battery, the one that I use for like my fish finder, my accessories, on the Titan X. Just as a placeholder until the 100 amp gets here. But we got it all hooked up now. I'll make sure I do this without this fish finder hitting the ground. So how this is going to work is this is a 1-inch hole saw that we use for the Yak Attack through holes. This works for pretty much everything. The issue that happens is trying to route these big connectors through that. So this giant connector and this giant connector here. We can get one through, but we can't get the other one through after this cord is already in that through hole. So it's fine, because what we're going to do is we are going to, instead of running the fish finder wire through this, we're going to run the Noco Genius wire through this, and then we're going to get a through hole XL by Yak Attack, and we're going to run our transducer and our power wire for the fish finder through that instead. So kind of weird. I crawled through the attic, but we're going to be using that through hole in another video anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, so that's the situation that we have. New things kind of come up in the install that we didn't really plan for, so we'll probably end up installing that off camera, but we'll show you in the next Build Series episode regardless. But yeah, just to show you that it's hooked up and powered, you can turn that on. You're on power 1. Those 8 buttons do remember what you pressed. And then there we go. So we got power, and it just went black for a second, but it always, yep, there you go. So this thing's all set to go other than that small through hole. So we are ready to go. Like I said, we do plan on eventually getting a black box for live scope and eventually getting a captain's bridge for this, but both of those things are going to come at a later date. We don't have a timetable for that, but it will be coming soon. We just don't know exactly when. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. That's pretty much going to do it. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment down below. We will happily answer it. I do believe the next Build Series episode we're going to be doing is on the Noco. We do have to make some small modifications to the Noco setup to make it work for this XTR, but it's going to be very easy, and we'll show you how to do it regardless. But yep, here's the fish finder ready to go. I don't have the transducer hooked up, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. So yeah, thank you.